All right, we got UFC Atlanta this weekend. Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman, a fight we've all wanted to see, and I'm going to give you my picks and predictions for the entire card. I'm 147 and 70 so far this year. Had a good bounce back week at 10 and 3 last week, and we're going to get it right again this week. We're going to have a good week, guys. Starting off with, this is a badass fight, dude. Jamie Lynn Horth versus stripper Vanessa Demopoulos. Don't know why Vanessa Demopoulos is taking this fight. She is just absolutely awful. I don't know if you guys could see that fucking absolute crash out that my computer just had, but deal with it. We're not restarting the video. Um, yeah, Jamie Lynn Hort's gonna dominate her. She's more physically and like powering. Like Vanessa Demopoulos is going up a weight class to take this. She's the only person with less than 60 inches of reach that I've ever seen in my life. Um, and she's terrible. Like her wins all come by robbery decisions. I don't think it's going to be close enough where they can rob Jamie Lynn Horth in this fight. I think she dominates Vanessa Demopoulos. Vanessa Demopoulos is 11 and 7, but she could arguably be like 8 and 10. Like I can count more than 3 robberies that she's had. So I think Jamie Lynn Horth dominates her. She's very physically strong. She's fought better competition. Vanessa Demopoulos is just terrible, dude. Like, she really, really is. So I'm picking Jamie Lynn Horth to win this one very easily. I could even see her getting a late finish, but I'm going to pick decision. Ange Loosa versus Phil Rowe. This is honestly going to be a shitty-ass boring fight. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be slow. Both of these guys have minimal output. I think Angelus is just super overrated because he was able to take a beating from Jack Della Maddalena, and he has a draw with Brian Battle, especially being that he was losing the fight bad and then just like decided he didn't want to fight anymore, so just took an eye poke or took like a headbutt or so. I don't remember what it was that he took that he just decided like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to fight. I guess we'll be a draw. And then Brian Battle looked at him and be like, you're a pussy ass bitch. Like you knew you were losing, you took the easy way out. Phil Rowe, I think, is going to have a very typical, like, Brian Battle-esque fight where he's going to use his teep kicks, he's going to use the straight punches, engage in the clinch, land some elbows. I'm going to pick Phil Rowe to win a decision here. I think he's just going to be able to outstrike Angelusa and keep him on the outside. The reach difference is very big. It's 6.5 inches. The height is going to be very, very different. I think Phil Rowe is just going to be able to kind of pick apart Angelusa, stay on the outside at moments, and you're going to see Angelusa start to wilt from some of the body shots, and Phil Rowe's going to be able to move forward and kind of pick him apart a little bit. So I expect a 3-round striking, I don't want to say masterclass because I don't think it's going to be like that good. I just think Phil Rowe's going to edge each round by doing more in the striking and being able to defend any of the grappling Angelusa throws at him. So I'm going Phil Rowe. I also think Phil Rowe has been looking for a fight for a very long time, so he's probably been training a lot and just, waiting to get in there. So I'm going to pick Phil Rowe by decision here, underdog pick. Ricky Simone versus Cameron Smotherman. Cameron Smotherman took this on like yesterday's notice. Supposed to be Charles Jourdain. I'm going to pick Ricky Simone. I actually think Ricky Simone is very good. He just had a brutal loss streak against absolute killers. When you look at who he fought, dude, this loss streak is against like the most legit of legit competition. KO'd by Song Yadong in round 5. Song Yadong's a top 5 bantamweight fighter. Mario Batista is working his way into being a top 5 bantamweight fighter. He got schooled in a decision. Vinicius Oliveira is a top 15 bantamweight fighter. Then he goes out there and he slumps Javid Basharat. He beat Jack Shore by submission. I think Ricky Simone's still very good. He just had a streak of killers that he had to fight. He's not good enough to beat the top level. Like, I don't think he's good enough to beat the top 10 level fighters. But I do think he's good enough to beat Cameron Smotherman. I think he's got some power in his hands. Listen, he did the Blonde Oliveira trick. He had a couple of losses, came back, goes blonde, has a sick finish. So I'm going with Ricky Simone to win this fight. I think that he's going to win a decision here. I think Cameron Smotherman has some decent striking at moments, but he had a very underwhelming performance in his last fight. I don't think that necessarily carries over here, but I just think it's going to be too much for him to handle on short notice. Ricky Simone's going to come at him with a lot of volume, a lot of power, and a lot of, I think he has a pretty grappling heavy approach in this one as well. So I think he's going to be able to have some success in the clinch in this fight, especially against the cage. I think he's going to be able to land some powerful shots on Cameron Smotherman as well. So I'm going to go with Ricky Simone to win this fight by decision. Hot take, right? Minus 550. Moving on, Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa. I don't like that Jose Ochoa is almost a minus 200 favorite here. I think it should be pretty much a pick'em. I think Cody Durden's grappling is going to be very, very good in this fight. And I trust his veteran prowess. But I do think Jose Ochoa is pretty good. So I've been going back and forth on this one, dude. I'm going to pull a bedtime and fucking sit on the fence and tell you what both guys can do well and what both guys don't do so well. So Jose Ochoa, I think he can accept bottom position a little too easily. But he has got some pretty good striking. It's slick. It's powerful. He's tall. Actually, he's not even that tall. Like, I don't know what I'm thinking here. I think he accepts bottom position too much, but he had a great scrap with Loner Kavanaugh. That's a good scrap, but it was Loner Kavanaugh, I believe's first actual UFC fight that wasn't Contender Series. It was in Macau. I think Loner Kavanaugh is good, but I think he's one of those guys that's just going to keep getting better as his career goes on. So you might have seen the worst version of Loner Kavanaugh in that fight. Cody Durden has been got beat up by Joshua Van a lot very recently. He got submitted a couple of times. He's been submitted by Tagir Ulanbekov. Now, I know he subbed Matt Schnell, but they had a kind of a war together, and he was able to sit in there and grit it out in the boxing. I think I'm going to go with an underdog in Cody Durden here. I think he can have some success grappling offensively. I think he's a better wrestler than Ochoa. I do think Ochoa probably has better jiu-jitsu, but Cody Durden, I think, is probably going to have the better hands. Ochoa might have better kicks, but I think Durden's going to have the better hands. I think he's going to be tougher in this fight as well. I don't think Ochoa puts him away. And I think if you're going to beat Cody Durden, you kind of got to put him away or pull a Josh Van and just beat the shit out of him through the whole fight. Because he's always going to be attacking, coming at you. Like, he's gotten KO'd once, and it was by Bruno Silva. Like, Bruno Silva's got some pop. He got submitted 4 times, and that's kind of what scares me. Like, but it's by Tagir Ulanbekov, right? Muhammad Makayev. Jimmy Flick, who's got great submissions. And then back in 2018, which I'm not even going to count, that's so far back in his career, like, he has a draw with Chris Gutierrez, then he got subbed. And then he has a win over Arichi Long, who's a bigger fucking flyweight. Then he has a sub loss to Muhammad Makayev. Again, it's Makayev. KO's JP Bays. Has a decision win against Moda and beat Charles Johnson. Beat Jake Hadley. Subbed Matt Schnell. Like, these are... And he's fought really good comp. I think going in against Jose Ochoa, it's going to be a little bit refreshing, more of an easier fight for him. So I'm going to go with Cody Durden to get this one done. I think he gets a decision. I think he's able to grapple against Jose Ochoa. And I think Ochoa is going to spend too much time on bottom trying to throw up triangles and trying to get a guillotine or something like that. And I think Cody Durden's going to be hip to it. And I think when they stand on the feet, I actually think Cody Durden's wrestling is going to get in the head of Jose Ochoa in the second and third round if he gets taken down in the first round and make Jose Ochoa drop his hands where he's going to get tagged by the punches a bit. So I'm going to go Cody Durden underdog pick here. Decision. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Chris Moutinho. Chris Moutinho has had a 5-fight win streak on the regional scene and has come back, but if you know, you know. It's not against the best competition. Listen, the thing about Chris Moutinho is he's very tough, and we saw that in the fight against O'Malley. But then after that, he got knocked out by like Guido Canetti in like the first or second round. But Guido Canetti's had some pop, right? He did. He was just a journeyman. He was like a 9-7 recorded guy. Now Moutinho's put together some wins. He's bounced back, came into the UFC. There are some guys at bantamweight that are on the lower end that I think he could beat, and I think he could out-grit and even grapple. Like, he is more of a grappler than he is a talented striker. I just don't think Malcolm Wellmaker's the guy, and as you can see, no one really does, because Malcolm Wellmaker's a minus 2,500 favorite, one of the biggest in UFC history, maybe the biggest in history. We'll see what he looks like at close, because I'm sure all the memers are going to just pick Moutinho just for shits and giggles. But Malcolm Wellmaker's that fucking dude, bro. I'm telling you. Malcolm Wellmaker, who's who everyone wants Peyton Talbot to be. It is. It is. You guys are all like, dude, Peyton Talbot is the real Sean O'Malley. He's the guy that's going to be a serious problem in this division for years to come. He's going to go make the top 15 and become a title fighter. No, he's not. Malcolm Wellmaker is the guy that you think that Peyton Talbot is. And guess what? He's a fucking humble dude from the South, cool as fuck. Got legitimate pop and power in his hands and tremendous boxing. Great story about him. And he don't paint his nails and get bopped by Frank Ocean on the side. So you know what? Malcolm Wellmaker's going to KO Moutinho. I think he finds it in round 1. Maybe early round 2. But I think Malcolm Wellmaker's going to find the KO. I think he's going to be able to sprawl and defend the takedowns here from Chris Moutinho. I think he's going to look very good in that aspect of the game. And then I think that Moutinho's going to start trying to blitz in and land some punches just to have some success. And Wellmaker's going to tag him with a counter hook and just slump Moutinho like he did Cameron Simon. So I'm going round 1 KO Malcolm Wellmaker. I think this guy's a fucking real deal serious problem. And he's in his hometown in Atlanta. I'm sure that I know he asked the UFC to be able to fight in Atlanta on the last card when he was in Kansas City. And I'm sure they said, dude, we're going to get you an opponent. I promise. We don't know who it is yet, but we're going to get you an opponent. Just stay tight, stay training. We will get you on this card. And they called Chris Moutinho on short notice and said, yeah, you want back in the UFC? It's Malcolm Wellmaker at UFC Atlanta, 2 hours from his hometown. Okay, so I think it's just a perfect scenario for Malcolm Wellmaker to go out there and have an insanely talented first round performance, get a sick knockout, and make headlines again. Malcolm Wellmaker KO round 1. The fucking unk-off here, dude. You got a combined 77 years old in the cage here. Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee. I'm picking Michael Chiesa. I think he's just going to be able to take down Court McGee repeatedly. I understand Court McGee has some wrestling in his arsenal, and Chiesa's striking is dog shit, and McGee's is also dog shit. But I think Chiesa's just better in the grappling, man. And I think he's going to be able to... He's going to look bigger in the cage, I think. Chiesa looks big when he fights, so I think he's going to go in there, land a couple of body kicks, be able to have a high guard and not have any punches from Court McGee land a couple of straight twos down the middle, and ultimately I think he will be able to get the takedowns, maybe not just blast double Court McGee, right? But I think he's going to be able to get him against the cage, chain wrestle, get the takedowns, trip the leg, use a couple of judo throws. I think he's going to be able to kind of have tricky, crafty type takedowns against Court McGee in this fight. And I think that's how he's going to win the fight by decision here. I think he just has pitter-patter moments on the feet where he has success, and then he wins up against the cage in the grappling. Gets the takedown, wins the fight in the grappling there. So I'm going to pick Michael Chiesa to win a 30-27. Grappling heavy decision, but has some moments on the feet as well. Mike Chiesa's winning this. Herpes Boy versus Paul Craig. If you know, you know. Rodolfo Bellato pulled out of their fight back on the Morales-Burns card because he had herpes. If I'm Paul Craig, I'm like, bruh, find me another opponent ASAP. Bellato's going to win this fight. I don't think Paul Craig has the ability to get him to the ground. His wrestling isn't that good. It's his jiu-jitsu that's so good and so slick. But I think Bellato's going to stay on the feet the whole time, eat a couple of body kicks, and be able to just walk forward and beat up Paul Craig on the feet. And I think Paul Craig's just going to absolutely crumble by the time it gets to late round 2. I'm going to pick a late round 2 finish from Rodolfo Bellato here, probably a KO. I don't expect to see him subbing Paul Craig. Only Brendan Allen can do that. Weird, so weird, dude, that Brendan Allen is so talented that he can submit Paul Craig, but then have the dumbest fight IQ moments and lose a fight that he should have won, I think, against Anthony Hernandez. But regardless, Rodolfo Bellato, round 2 TKO. I just don't think Paul Craig has it, bro. Like, he just don't. Umar Sy versus Alonzo Menefield. I'm picking Umar Sy. He fights very Cyril Gane-esque, where he's able to use the jab to stay at range. Kind of almost karate, very light on his feet. Bouncing back and forth, taps the legs, lands the jab, taps the legs, throws a teep to the body. He also has some good grappling as well. I just don't think he's going to be able to take Alonzo Menefield down. So I see this being a 30-27 decision of him staying on the outside the whole time. Maybe Alonzo Menefield... Actually, I could see a late TKO from Umar Sy where Alonzo Menefield's tired at the end of the fight, but he needs to have a couple of blitz moments to have some success or have any chance, so he does blitz. Maybe he walks into an elbow or a knee, but I also see Umar Sy seeing the blitz and just retreating the whole time and landing his shots at range. I kind of think, I'm going to keep it a buck, dude. I think Umar Sy kind of fights like a coward. I'll keep it a buck, dude. I get he's a UFC fighter, but he fought Dawoon Jung kind of like a coward. He subbed Tuco Tokos by getting him down and just subbing him. Didn't do much damage throughout the fight, but obviously got the round 1 sub. I think Umar Sy is very talented, but I think he's point-fighted talented. So I think he's going to stay on the outside, land a lot of low kicks, throw some teeps to the body, land the jab, stay out of the danger of Alonzo Menefield the whole fight, maybe engage in some clinch work up against the fence, not be able to take Menefield down, but win a 30-27 boring, ugly type decision. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Cody Brundage. Listen, man, I've given Brundage a little too much shit, right? I have. I think he's talented. I think his wrestling's good. I think his striking has gotten better. I think he's got some pop and some power. It's just you're getting the Mansour Abdul Malik treatment, brother. You look like he KO'd Julian Marquez in what was a sick fight. He had a no contest against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, and he did take a fucking 50 back of the head shots. Got subbed by Bo Nickel, but then he slammed Zach Reese into the canvas for a KO. He had a DQ win against Jacob Malkoun when he got hit in the back of the head. That one was more of the acting job, right? The Abdul Razak Al Hassan one, I guess, it's legit. Well, he got hit in the back of the head 50 times. But I think Cody Brundage is pretty decent. I just think Mansour Abdul Malik is one of those guys that's just getting better every fight. Now, minus 800 is ridiculous of a line. I think Mansour Abdul Malik is minus 250 at best in this fight. So there may be value in terms of betting to sprinkle some money on Brundage, because I don't think Mansour Abdul Malik is going to be able to ragdoll and take down Cody Brundage. I think this is going to play out on the feet. Mansour Abdul Malik is going to walk forward the whole time. I can just see Cody Brundage trying to get Mansour Abdul Malik off of him by landing a lot of volume in round one, landing some good shots. Not too many, maybe a couple of low kicks, but I don't think too many body kicks, or maybe some body kicks, but not too many high kicks. But I think he's going to be on the back foot a lot of this fight. Mansour Abdul Malik does a great job of walking forward, trying to push you up against the cage. I think that Brundage saw some success in the last fight that the opponent of Mansour Abdul Malik had, that he's going to have some moments where he pushes Mansour Abdul Malik against the cage, but he's only getting better, right? I know Brundage is also only getting better, but so is Mansour Abdul Malik, and I don't expect him to drop around like he did in the last fight. I expect him to be able to push Cody Brundage back, maybe he will drop the first round, but I think Cody Brundage is going to gas out in round 2, and Mansour Abdul Malik is going to find the KO shot and end up winning this. So I'm going Mansour Abdul Malik by KO in round 2. I like Brundage though, dude. I'm not gonna talk any more shit about Brundage. I kind of like him. I saw him on Show Me the Money podcast, and he was a very likable character. So I'm gonna go with Mansour Abdul Malik round 2 KO. But no disrespect to Cody Brundage, man. Cody Garbrandt versus Hayani Barcelos, dude. I'm doing it. No Love is gonna have a good win in this one, and I think he gets a KO in round 2, maybe round 1. I think Barcelos looked really good against Peyton Talbot, but let's be real, dude. Peyton Talbot don't have the slump you power in one punch like Cody Garbrandt has. Barcelos is 38 years old. There's always susceptibility to being slumped like that. And I don't think Hani Barcelos is going to be able to out-grapple and out-wrestle Cody Garbrandt like he did against Peyton Talbot. I think Cody Garbrandt's wrestling is a lot better than Peyton Talbot's, and I think it's good enough to defend against Hani Barcelos. I think he might have some moments where he's able to get takedowns. And I think his boxing is way better than Ronnie Barcelos. I think that Barcelos has some better kicks. But I think Cody Garbrandt's going to have success in this fight. And his last loss was to Figgy. He had a couple of fights get canceled in between. But yeah, his last loss was to Figgy. And he was winning on the feet in round 1. He was having great moments on the feet. And in round 2, Figgy was desperate to get it to the ground. And dude, that's Figgy. Figgy's able to get it to the ground, and he did. He KO'd Kelleher before that in 2023. That was the easiest pick of all time on the Covington Edwards card. Beat Traven Jones in a seriously boring fight, but it was a very wrestling-heavy fight, so he showed he can do it. I think he's going to be able to chin Ronnie Barcelos here. I think he's going to be able to keep this one standing, and I think he's going to keep it in boxing range where he's able to land on Hayani Barcelos, and I don't think the chin is fully gone of Cody, bro. I think he had some bad circumstances in getting knocked out. I don't think the chin's fully gone, bro. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going Cody Garbrandt by round 2 KO over. Maybe, you know what? Round 1 KO over Hani Barcelos. And the crowd's going to be chanting for him, too. Edmund Shabazin versus Andre Petroski. Dude, I might get my picks really fucking wrong today. Or really wrong this week. Or they're really good. I'm going with another underdog of Andre Petroski, man. I am. I think Shabazian's a KO's you in round 1 or loses the fight kind of guy. I think that his takedown defense is not good at all. I think he's very... Round 1, he's very physically strong and hard to take down, but I think Petroski's going to be able to get him to the ground. I do. Like, he KO'd Dylan Budka. Dylan Budka is dog shit. Petroski's wrestling is fucking good, dude. It is. He's got great wrestling control, and he can tire you out. Now, Petroski doesn't have the best cardio. He doesn't have good cardio at all either. But Mearshart subbed Shabazian in round 2. He got a KO over Dobson in round 1, but got rocked. Lost Anthony Hernandez in round 3. Was able to get wrestled. He knocked out Dalke Nutrambula in round 2. But he's been able to get taken down, and we've seen it throughout his career pretty consistently. And I think Petrosky's going to be able to get him down in round 1. Shabazian's probably going to have some moments where he lands some good punches, lands a good body kick. But I think Petrosky's going to be able to catch one of the kicks he throws and take down Shabazian and tire him out in round 1 in the grappling. Round 2, Shabazian's immediately worse. And I think Petrosky's going to be able to take him down again. And I think he's going to find his way to an arm triangle submission here in round 2. So I'm going to go Andre Petrosky, round 2 submission. He's going to submit a tired out Andre Petrosky with an arm triangle. I'm picking it to happen, guys. I'm sorry, but it's going to happen. I'm going another underdog, dude. I'm picking Miranda Maverick. I think Rose is so fucking overrated, dude. I think that she has gotten so much worse in her career. Dude, just look at these fights, man. Look at her career, especially of recently. Lost to Blanchfield. I thought she could have won that fight, but the reason it was even close is because she just doesn't throw volume, and that's what's going to be a problem here, especially in a 3-round fight. She didn't throw enough volume to beat Erin Blanchfield in this fight. She beat Tracy Cortez, but Tracy Cortez isn't a great grappler trying to take her down. Amanda Hebos is a good grappler when it's on the ground, but she can't get it to the ground. So she was stuck on the feet with Rose, and Rose was going to win that one. Manon Fiorot, she arguably won, but again, Manon was able to kind of have success on the feet as well. Like, it's Manon Fiorot, and I get she won, dude. This isn't aging well, but like, it's just each of these performances are getting more and more lackluster. The performance from Carla Esparza was so fucking bad, dude. And what I keep seeing consistently with Rose Namajunas is she is so focused on making the fight overly technical that she drops rounds because of it, and she doesn't throw volume because of it. Whereas Miranda Maverick is always getting in your face. She is always up in your face, trying to heavily pace grappling you, throwing strikes to get into the grappling. I think that Miranda Maverick's going to win a 29-28 split decision here. I really do. And I'm going to pick her to win this one by split based off of the second and third round probably. Maybe first and third. I think round 3, Rose is going to get too technical and throw away a round. I do. You know what? I can see Rose winning the second round and drop it. I don't know which rounds it's going to be. Rose is going to drop 2 rounds in this fight, though. I can just see... And Pat Barry's also like the worst fucking corner coach of all time. And I believe, is it Nixick that coaches Miranda Maverick? No, she's at Elevation Fight Team too, so like the cardio's there. Rose Namajunas has fought at Elevation Fight Team, but she switched to go fight with Pat Barry, and she has been significantly worse. We have seen the corner work of Pat Barry be absolutely awful. Awful. And Rose follows it. It's awful. Rose does this thing where she sits on the outside and focuses. She fucking Sandhagens it, bro. When the moments that Sandhagen loses fights, where he's looking to be too technical and stuff like that, that's when he loses. Same with Rose. Rose looks to be too technical, win the outside foot battle, make sure that the jab lands and you're out of the way for the 2, and then sprawl the takedown. And then you wait, and you just make reads the whole time, and you don't throw. Rose spends too much time trying to make it look pretty and technical that she gives away moments of the fight, and that's where she loses rounds. She's focused too heavy on the takedown defense, then her opponent's able to land the hands, when she's supposed to be the better striker. And she gives away those moments. She doesn't throw enough volume. She listens to Pat Barry too much, and he is a terrible coach. Her fight IQ is just too focused on the technique, and she drops minutes because of it. So I think Miranda Maverick's going to win this fight 29-28. I'm picking Miranda Maverick, an underdog by decision. I have picked 1, 2, 3 in a row. 4, 5 underdogs on this card, guys. And when it comes to the main event, I ain't picking a 6th, bro. Joaquin Buckley's getting this one done. I can see a decision. I can see a 5-round war. I can see this fight being an absolute 5-round war. I think Buckley's going to win the first couple rounds. I think Usman's going to take some time to try and get back into it. He's going to have a little ring rust, I believe. But Buckley's a different animal right now. He's in his prime. He has gotten significantly better every fight. I'm not seeing many people that work harder than Buckley in the gym. And here's what's going to be difficult for Usman. He's taking 3 years off. When we see guys take 3 years off, they fucking lose. They come back and they're not as good. Think of Cejudo, bro. Comes back, doesn't look as good. It's the guys that are active that are looking the best. It really is. I'm trying to think of other fighters that have taken. Colby Covington has looked terrible since taking significant amounts of time off. It's specifically in this division that we're seeing it a lot too. It's just, it's been bad. And Joaquin Buckley's looked great in his last couple fights. Broke Luque. Now, I get that was a different looking Luque, but we have to start considering after the performance that Luque had against Holland, he was in there and he was fighting like a warrior and he was getting tagged a lot. It might have just been like, yes, there was a mix of him being afraid of the brain bleed and stuff like that, but also Buckley putting it on him and making him not want to be in there anymore. Buckley also dominated Ruzaboyev in the grappling. Dominated him, took him down, landed big ground and pound, was able to pass guard, looked great in the wrestling in that fight, dominated him. Ruzaboyev, a guy who's knocking people out at 185 who has power. Then he knocks out Wonderboy, and Wonderboy had a lot of success in that fight. But Buckley was still able to find and get the finish. And who the fuck is going to win a fight against Wonderboy on the feet? Nobody. You have to implement the grappling. Buckley was smart enough to have moments where when he was losing a lot in the grappling, he would hold Wonderboy against the cage a bit, try and land some clinch punches, land shots. And when he does engage in the grappling, he looks to do damage. Then he fucking absolutely destroys Colby Covington. Absolutely smokes him. Gets a round 3 finish because of a doctor stoppage. Should it have been a doctor stoppage? No. But he was well on his way to winning that fight. No problem. Kamaru Usman's taken a lot of time off. He hasn't fought since 2023. I think October of 2023. Has it really been that fucking long, bro? October of 2023, man. It's been over 18 months. It's been 20 months, bro. No. Yeah, 20 months since he has fought. It's just like, and he's on a 3-fight skid. The knees are shot. Like, he's not going to be able to grapple against Joaquin Buckley. He may be able to hold him against the cage for a couple seconds, but Buckley's so explosive, he's so athletic, and those knees are not holding up. He's not taking Buckley to the ground. And a lot of people are going to say, dude, you forget, man. Usman's got pretty good striking. Dude, he's got decent straight punches. Like, his jab is very, very good. Buckley's a southpaw. Buckley is not there to get hit by the jab. Usman is going to struggle to find the jab on him. He's going to have to lead his combinations with a straight right hand a lot of the times to find Buckley. And I think Buckley's head movement's so good he's going to be able to get in on the inside and wing big hooks and be able to land on Usman. He is. Usman's not great at trading hooks in the pocket. He kind of like bites down and like wings an overhand, follows with a left hook, wings a right hook, and he's never looking, where Buckley's like right in your face, landing accurate punches of the hooks, blitzing in. Where Usman's trying to land that jab. And Usman doesn't use his kicks as either. So Buckley's really only got to worry about the jab. I'll say straight punches overall. Joaquin Buckley's really got to only worry about straight punches and wrestling. It's a lot easier of a camp than Usman's going to have, where he's going to have to worry about wrestling and kicks, punches. He's got to worry about a lot of it. The athleticism, the entries of Joaquin Buckley, the ability to kind of switch stances, move inside, his head movement. Buckley has gotten so much better in every fight he's been, and he's on a massive run. I'm going with momentum here. He could knock out Usman 100%. I could see a round 3 KO. I can see a round 2 KO. I think as this fight gets later, the KO ability is going to start to go away, or the KO likelihood is going to go away, and Joaquin Buckley's going to run away with like a dominant decision. But I think that we see in the last 2 rounds, Usman starts to make this a war, but Buckley's going to fucking whoop up on him on the first 2, or the first 2 for sure. Beat him in the 3rd, maybe even beat him in the 4th, but Usman's really starting to make this a bludgeoning war. Maybe gets knocked down by Buckley, and Usman has a good 5th round. So I'm going to go with Joaquin Buckley to win a decision here. These are the picks and predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Dude, I could have a bad predictions week. I picked 5 underdogs, but dude, I'm telling you, I got this shit on lock.